Happy Samhain! Today I'm going to make these cute little soul cakes and show you how to do it. They're very cute, very good for offerings, and you can use them in a dumb supper or whatever. So stay tuned. Okay, so I've got some of the stuff ready here to go so that I'm not measuring and everything on camera, but I'll tell you everything you need for the soul cakes. You're gonna need flour, nutmeg, cinnamon, salt, milk, butter, sugar, egg yolks, and then for the top, if you want to, you can decorate them with currants, raisins, something like that. I'm using these craisins that I got. This is a half-cup pouch. I've got a couple more of those pouches, so I might end up bringing one in or maybe not. I don't know. I don't know if that one will be enough, but if not, I've got more. So anyway, in this bowl, I've got the flour, nutmeg, cinnamon, and salt, and I'm going to stir that up. And this is actually half of the batch, so it may not look like a whole lot, but I'm just making half a batch because I don't need a ton of them. So you just stir this all up, and then once it's all mixed together, which isn't hard to do really. And while you're doing this, you might want to put your milk like on the stove to warm. It says you can add saffron into it, a pinch of saffron, but I'm not doing that because saffron's not only expensive, but we just don't have any. And so I'm not doing that. I'm just warming the milk just by itself. So then once you've done that, you want to take the butter and the sugar, and it calls for a whole stick of butter, but so because of that I put in half a stick of butter. And then you just want to cream it together, which the stick is still kind of, and my hands are clean. I washed them just right before starting. And you just want to cream it together, which you can use a like a blendy thing. You know what I'm talking about, right? Those electric blenders. Or you can just use a wooden spoon, which I'm just going to use the wooden spoon. And so this is going to take a few minutes, especially because the butter is still kind of hard. So once I've done that and the milk is all the way warmed up, I will come back and show you the next step. Okay, so now is when we add the milk, and it says to add it 1 tablespoon at a time. To be, for me, a 4th cup, but I know for a fact I'm going to need more than that because I just made more than like adding 1 tablespoon and mixing. I'm going to need about almost all of it at least, because I just made some more of these literally like right before this batch. So I'm going to add, I guess that was like 4 or something, 4 or 5, and start mixing out that and see how that does. And I will eventually have to get in here with my hands because it's not going to want to come together all the way with a spoon. But that's always nice. And I did just wash my hands again. It's always good when you knead it with your hands and stuff because then you can put in your intention. And you can see it's starting to make a dough. A very sticky one right now. Sorry, I'm trying to get on screen, but still be able to do it. Okay. Just like one more, which is like, these are like 2 little pieces of it. Oh, it smells so good. I can smell the cinnamon and the nutmeg and everything, or whatever I put in it. Yeah, cinnamon and nutmeg. Okay, it's looking perfect. Okay. So there we go, the dough. So I'm gonna get ready to roll it out and cut it, and I will be right back. Okay, so I've got my dough on there, trying to get it to, it doesn't look like it's focusing. I've got my dough ball on there. I floured the parchment paper surface. I've got my biscuit cutter that I'm using, which I think this is like 1.5 or almost 2 inches. And then I've got a tray. You can see the little edge of it right here. And I made, instead of making one whole batch, I split it in half and made 2. I told you earlier this was a half batch, which it is. But what I did was I made 2 half batches. So I made 1 batch earlier that was a half a batch as well, because I wanted a full batch, but I wanted to be able to make it where, and you're supposed to roll this to 1/2 inch thick, because they don't really puff up like regular biscuits or something. Not a lot anyway. So I wanted to be able to make a decent amount of them, but I wanted sorry, but I wanted some that were a little bit more plain, that wouldn't have as much of the spice in them. So I made some that are already on the tray there that haven't been cooked yet but are ready to be put in with this batch, that are a little bit more plain. So they're a little bit lighter in color. Okay, so that might be a little bit thin, but it's okay. Looks nice. And then I'll be putting the craisins, in my case, on top in a minute. And then I'll brush a beaten egg yolk on top. And so you just keep cutting them and put them on your tray. And then now you've got this left over, and you can easily just push this back into a ball and put it back together. A little bit more flour. A little bit more on my thing, rolling pin. Okay, and sorry, recut. And I'll go one more time. I'm trying to put in my intention as I go, so if I'm not talking a ton, that would be why. Can I fit one right there? No, not really. Okay, one more time, just to get one last one. Okay. There we go. And I could probably make another one, but I'm not going to. So then I'm going to get my tray, and actually I'm going to kind of clean up a little bit, and then I'll bring you back. Okay, so here they are spread out. As you can see, I've started decorating them. I'm using these craisins that I showed you before, and they're actually bigger than I thought they were going to be. I've never really eaten cranberries or had craisins before, so I did this one here. Maybe I shouldn't try to pick it up, I don't know. And sorry if you hear my kitten running around like a crazy person in the background. Well, usually what I try to do is what I've done last year and the year before, I used raisins. And they're a little bit smaller, so what I would do is I'd put one in the center and then 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2 on each side. So it's like a cross with 5 per row. And that's what I did on this one, but it looks really, really crowded. And let's see if I can bring the camera around. See how it just looks kind of crowded and like overtaken? You can't even really see what's there. You can't even tell that it's really a cross pattern so much. So on these two, I just did 4. Like one in the center and then one on each edge. Sort of like the elements or something, but it's still sort of a cross. And then I started to do that one over there, and then I realized, well, I need to do some over on these, because these 2 rows here and then these 2 individual ones, I don't know if you can tell by the color, but these have more spices in them. And then these 2 rows and these 2 at the top, have less. So I'm going to do some of the craisins over here. And you really just stick them in, and you know, you can decorate them however you want. If you don't want any craisins or raisins or whatever. They said to put currants in the recipe I got, but to be honest, I'm not 100% sure what currants are. And we don't eat this kind of raisins, craisins, all that on a regular basis. So like last year we had a lot of raisins left over after this project that no one ever ate. And I actually got these craisins free in a box of Special K, which we do eat. So, oops, that was 2 of them, I guess. They're kind of sticking together. So anyway, after you put all these craisins in there, then I need some more than also lenfish. Then you take your egg wash, which is just a beaten egg yolk, and that one's not going to stay in there. And you just brush it over the top of them, lightly. Which, I don't know, this egg yolk is really, really thick, so yeah, it's gonna be hard to brush it on there. But, without, yeah, disturbing everything. So, yeah, I might do it before. That would make more sense, I think. So, can you guys even see what I'm doing? Oh, I'm doing these ones over here, sorry. I'll do this one next. I'm just brushing on the egg yolk, and then I'm gonna put on the craisins. But that's all you do, and then you put them in the oven at 400 degrees for 15 minutes, or until they're kind of, you know, golden and shiny on top because of the egg mixture. And then you can put them on your altar or your ancestor altar for offerings. And yeah, so I will show you them when they are finished cooking. So here they are, fresh out of the oven. Ooh, sorry, I may be steaming up the camera a bit even. They're looking good. You can hear my cat in the background, I'm sure. These are some of the more plain ones, and then these are the more spicy ones, I guess. More with more spice in them, I guess. But yeah, they look really nice. As you can see, I got a little distracted when I was making them, and I forgot to put the glaze on these two, but that'll be fine. I just won't use those as offerings. I'll eat those myself or something. But I really like how they turned out. So if you guys try making these, or if you have your own version of soul cakes that you make, I'd love to hear about it. And thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys have a great Samhain. Blessed be.